Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Ajwritescrypto, and welcome to one of my favorite segments of the week called No Sweat Bets. No Sweat Bets is when we look at every money-making opportunity on Polymarket right here, right now, and see what we can zone in on and make some money this weekend. So just to give myself some accolades, I made over $200,000 betting on, sports, movies, anything, whatever this year so far. And most of that action has happened over on Polymarket. Since then, they have sponsored this channel. I love that. And I like doing a weekly update to help you guys make money. We made some crazy calls last week saying XRP won't get to 3.7, XRP won't get to $4. Obviously, unless something crazy happens in the last few days of the month, we were correct on that. We also called the main event card for UFC last week, but now it's a new week. We won last week's bets. Let's go into this week. Let's look at where we're going to start. As you can see, there are always so many things. How are we going to figure out what here is going to make us money? What here should we zone in on? Because some things are like, who's going to win the World Series? Who's going to win? Who's going to win the Super Bowl next year? What's going to happen by the end of the year? Who's going to win the presidential election in 2028? A lot of things on Polymarket are long-term projections, and the point is to get in, get your shares early so your shares go up over time and you can sell before the result even happens or doesn't happen. But I like to zone in on things that, can make us money now. But before we get into that, I got a handful of amazing opportunities I want to show you in this video. But before I get on that, I got to say, I am so excited that Polymarket US, they've been doing nothing but tweeting about how Polymarket is coming home to America. The VPN gang, it's almost over. Obviously, you can click the link down below, get yourself going. But if you want to do it in the US the real way, this is coming. And right now, they're only saying 69 cents for a yes, will it go live in 2025? I have it on good authority that they're aiming to go live fall. That's the answer I got, just so you know, fall. Even if that's wrong, it could be winter. But if they're saying fall, I'm going to go ahead and bet yes to this. $10,000 bet would give you $14,000. A $1,000 bet would give you $1,400 on will Polymarket US go live in 2025. That is a yes, ladies and gentlemen. No sweat bet. Lock it up. Let's keep it rolling here. All right. The next thing I want to point out is that the crypto trading has changed significantly on Polymarket since I initially got involved. So you can go monthly, for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin. Will it be above or below monthly? Will it be above or below weekly? And now daily, and now hourly. You can literally day trade these four coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, hourly on Polymarket. Very powerful stuff, especially for the day traders out there. We did make we've made 3 correct calls on XRP in the past 2 videos, but we're going to wait till next week because once it's August, we can make our August projections. I feel like for monthly, for XRP now, it is kind of locked in on where is it going to be because it's not going to 3.7 and it's not going to $2. So there's really not a bet to make unless you want to bet no on 3.7. Were to bet $10,000 on that, you'd win, $600. That's a lot of exposure for $600. But I will tell you, XRP will not go to 3.7 in July. That's really the only lock I have now since it's the end of the month. We will do a lot more of the crypto side of Polymarket on next week's show. Moving forward here, UFC Fight Night, basically tomorrow night. This is a really solid card for Fight Night. I want to look into this. I'm only going to say a couple fights here. Bryce Mitchell versus Sad Nurmagomedov. Anytime you see a guy from Kazakhstan, Russia, and their name is Nurmagomedov or Magmegadodov, and they have that beard, I don't care who they're fighting. Bet on that guy. Bet on that guy. I'm sorry, Bryce Mitchell. I know you're from the States and all, but I think there's something to be said about your fight tomorrow night. Also, Sahar Margomedov, I got him against Mark Andre. And then right here, the last 2 fights, Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. Yan is heavily favored to win that fight, and I would say that one is a lock. $10,000 will get you $12,000 back. $1,000 will get you 1,200 back. That would be a lock for me. And then finally, Whitaker versus DeRitter. Right now, Whitaker is the favorite. If you were to bet 1,000 on him, you get 1,700. But if you were to bet 1,000 on DeRitter, you would get 2,200. And I took a long look at this fight, ladies and gentlemen, and I initially leaned Robert Whitaker. I really did. But then I started to really kind of look into some details here. First of all, DeRitter is a submission type guy. And when you look at Robert Whitaker's fight history, he's coming off a loss. His last fight was in October of 24. So he hasn't fought in a while, and he lost to Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, so what does that tell you? He lost round 1, 3 minutes and 34 seconds by submission. He is not an elite fighter. Khamzat is an elite fighter. He lost to Khamzat. And yeah, he beat Alcara. I can't even pronounce that guy's name. Aliskarov. He beat Costa. He lost to Duplessis. He beat Vittori, and he lost to Desandia. I always mess that guy's name up. But anyway, my point here is that, he's lost 3 of his last 6 fights. And, he's kind of getting older. He's getting older. He's a strong fighter, but he's coming off. He's been all over the place a little bit. And that loss against Chimaev, that was a demand. He lost. Like, he was outclassed. Robert Whitaker got outclassed. On the flip side, the underdog, Reinier de Ridder, look at his fight history. He won right here to Murashate. I don't even remember that guy. The 2 big ones. He won against Kevin Holland, and he won against Bo Nickel. And Kevin Holland and Bo Nickel are no joke. This guy has won. He only has 3 fights in the UFC. He's won all 3 of them. And he has 5 wins by knockout, 13 wins by submission in his entire fight history, and 11 first-round finishes. So not only is he lethal in the first round, he's a submission guy that can also knock you the fuck out. I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards the Ridder here. I mean, and to go back to his fight history, so November, he beat this guy in November. He beat Kevin Holland in January, and he beat Bo Nickel in May. While Whitaker has been on the bench since October after his loss to Khamzat Chimaev, this guy has won 3 fights while the other guy was sitting on the couch. I don't know, guys. What I'm saying here is I think our guy, de Ridder, I think he has Whitaker's number. I will be putting a healthy bet on this guy live publicly, probably somewhere in the wheelhouse of $4,000 or $5,000. I will be putting it on Twitter, and someone that likes that tweet will win probably $250 from that bet, like I do every time I bet publicly on Polymarket. I think de Ridder has Whitaker's number. I'm going for the underdog. Lock it up. That's a no sweat bet. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here. Let's talk about Fantastic Four. The first Fantastic Four, movie that's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And how are we going to do an opening weekend? I was actually really surprised to see that anything less than 115 million has less than a 1% chance. If you put $10 on this, you get $1,000. But they're saying it's going to at least do $115 million. That's no joke for an opening weekend. In fact, in the Thursday previews, it outpaced Superman by like $3 million. I think Superman did like 22 million and this did like 25 million in the Thursday previews, basically saying that this is going to have a better opening weekend than Superman based off the Thursday previews. And so far on Friday, they've been selling some tickets, ladies and gentlemen. And really it comes down to a lot of 50. The crowd is saying 115 to 125, but guess what? Superman did 125. And if Fantastic Four continues to outpace Superman, that would put it in 125 to 135. That's where I'm going to put my bet in. This is not a multi-$1,000 bet. I might throw $500 at this to win 1,000. I might throw $200 at this to win 450, something small. But I think Fantastic Four is going to land in 125 to 135. I think it's going to outpace the Superman movie. And honestly, Joseph Quinn is Blaze, and Joseph Quinn is probably one of my favorite actors ever from his performance of Eddie Munson in Stranger Things. And I cannot wait for Stranger Things season 5. Don't even get me started on Stranger Things. Okay, so that is my bet for that. Also, I'm going to stick to my guns. Which movie has the biggest opening weekend in 2025? I've been saying this since No Sweat Bets started a few months ago. Minecraft. Minecraft is the answer to the best. Avatar is not going to outperform Minecraft. Zootopia is not going to outperform Minecraft. Even if you bet $10,000 right now, well, the pool hasn't got that much money. But let's say if you did $1,500 right now, you get $700 in profit. Or if you just did a simple $1,000 bet, you get $1,500. Minecraft will be the opening movie. That is an absolute lock. That is an easy money, in my opinion. Bet yes on Minecraft. Lastly, we're going to talk about F1. And we all know that I have said our guy, Oscar Piastri, this guy, he is teammates with Lando Norris on McLaren. And Lando Norris has closed the points lead down a little bit, but Oscar is looking hot in Belgium right now. He has a he blitzed everyone by almost a full second. He's on top of the pole. He is poised to win the race this weekend. And in terms of who's going to win the entire points championship, after the first 10 rounds, Oscar had a 22-point lead. Historically speaking, in the past decade, anytime someone has more than a 20-point lead after the 10th round, not over 90% of the chance they win the title. And although Lando has caught up to Oscar, but not because Lando has beat him straight up, Oscar has had penalty issues and stuff like that. Oscar, pound for pound, is faster than his teammate Lando Norris. And I am going to bet yes. If you bet $10,000, you get $13,000. Or because of the betting pool, if you go $1,000, you'd get $1,500 back on Oscar. I believe I have a $3,000 bet locked already for Oscar. I think I want to add to it. But my bet is that Oscar is going to win the F1 Drivers' Championship. In terms of this weekend, I have to go back and say, Oscar put down a blazing, and I mean blazing lap time, basically a second, 0.7 of a second faster than anyone else on the track. Max Verstappen has a better chance than Lando, in my opinion, to win Belgium this weekend. But guys, for a double your money situation, I mean, even if you put $500 to win 944, or you put $2,000 to win 3,700, I will be betting yes for Oscar to win this weekend. And of course, I'm betting yes for Oscar to win the F1 Drivers' Championship. So guys, there you go. That is your episode of No Sweat Bets today. We got the UFC fight this weekend. Like I said, I like Denier over Whitaker. We got the F1 this weekend. I think Polymarket is going to go live in the US during 2025. That's literally stealing money from my baby. That's easy bet. And yeah, that's basically what we got. This show is going to continue to evolve as football comes back, as baseball playoffs gets closer. This show is a lot more fun when it's playoffs, but there is still so much to bet on in the meantime. And since we go to so many UFC fights because we're backed by VeChain, I have my finger on the pulse with UFC fights. And obviously I've lost some bets with UFC, but I've won way more than I've lost. And I really think that's the point to drive home here with No Sweat Bets, is that if you put the same amount of money on every bet and follow every bet I make, yeah, you're going to lose some, but overall you will make money. That is the bottom line. This is No Sweat Bets. My name's Ajwritescrypto. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like, have a safe rest of your day, get rich or get wrecked. Peace.